Jeremy Corbyn is now in almost complete command of his party. They needed harmony, he told his conference, to stick together. Labour did nothing, he warned, when divided. To reach government, they needed unity.
Real unity is based on the freedom to disagree and debate, and then come together around a democratic decision, as we've done this week.
All year, Labour's most intense and damaging divisions have been over anti-Semitism in its ranks. Corbyn once again tried to draw a line.
I say this to all in the Jewish community. This party, this movement, will always be implacable campaigners against anti-Semitism and racism in all its forms. We are your allies. We will work with Jewish communities to eradicate anti-Semitism, both within our party and wider society. And with your help, I will fight for that with every breath that I possess.
Rebuilding the state has been a big Labour theme this week, allowing government again to provide public services rather than private enterprise.
Privatisation and outsourcing are now a national disaster zone. And Labour is ready to call time on this racket. We will rebuild the public realm and create a genuinely mixed economy for the 21st century. And after a decade of austerity, the next Labour government will confront the challenge of rebuilding our public services.
Yet a hard Brexit, he warned, would see Britain embroiled in a global competition to undermine business regulation.
The Tory Brexiteers unite the politics of the 1950s with the economics of the 19th century, daydreaming about a Britannia that both rules the waves and waves the rules.
As the government tries to stick by its Brexit strategy agreed at Chequers this summer, Corbyn tried to clarify his party's position.
If Parliament votes down a Tory deal, or the government fails to reach any deal at all, we would press for a general election.
Yet astonishingly, Corbyn was then barely audible when he explained what Labour's position would be if an election didn't happen.
Failing that, all options are on the table.
All options are on the table, but he mumbled it almost as if it wasn't that important. All very strange given the toil that went into agreeing that phrase. Months of wrangling and debate before it was confirmed this week as Labour's public position, and that Remain would be one of those options.
But let me also reach out to the Prime Minister. You see, I reach out to everybody.
The press had been told to expect a major announcement.
Brexit is about the future of our country.
It was this intriguing offer to Theresa May.
I say this to her in all sincerity and helpfulness. If you deliver a deal that includes a customs union and no hard border in Ireland, if you protect jobs, people's rights at work and environmental and consumer standards, then we will support that sensible deal, a deal that would be backed by most of businesses in the world and trade unions. But if you can't negotiate that deal, then you need to make way for a party that can and will.
But was this a new position? What had happened to Labour's 6 stringent tests for a deal on jobs, migration and so on, which Brexit spokesman Keir Starmer had reaffirmed only yesterday?
Was that really a change on Brexit? Is there a change of tone on Brexit?
On my team, you've been with me all week. No, everybody's agreed on the Brexit position exactly as we set out.
So there's no change then from that?
No.
So 6 tests still apply?
Yes.
So really, why did he say it? Just summing up where you are.
Over and over again, I think you're trying to find division where there isn't any.
I mean, the party were briefing this was an important development.
You've been chasing me all week trying to find division that isn't
Well,
there.
I'm trying to understand things, that's why. But I'm a bit puzzled, because we were led to believe that there was going to be a rabbit pulled out of the hat, by Jeremy Corbyn today, and I couldn't see the rabbit and I couldn't see the hat at the end.
Okay.
It was meant to be that bit about reaching out, but now people like you are saying there's no change of tone.
I think you need greater sensitivity to rabbits and hats, because I think he pulled one out there, which was actually a very explicit offer. In the interest of the country, talk to us.
So you might abstain, perhaps, in the vote in Parliament?
Well,
then they get it through that way?
We're saying, here's what we want. You convince us you can get that, and you've got that, but talk to us now about it in the interest of the country. At the moment, she's having problems talking to her own party, let alone anyone else.
Barry Gardiner closed the week by whistling Labour's traditional anthem. They've unveiled distinctive new policies this week and avoided the bloodbath some had forecast. Yet Labour's position on the biggest issue of these times, Brexit, still seems very unclear.
Michael Quick there. Well, away from rabbits and hats and the Labour conference, Theresa May is in New York for the UN General Assembly and a speech to business leaders. Our political editor, Gary Gibbon, is with her in New York. Gary, has there been any reaction to Jeremy Corbyn's offer?
Conservative sources are not seeing it as an offer at all. They're seeing it as playing political games, playing politics. There is certainly a lot of politics going on in that bit of Jeremy Corbyn's speech. I think Labour is determined to try and avoid looking as though they get the blame should there be no deal. They want to make sure any blame would land at the government's feet. They want to make sure that it is clear to people they're acting in the national interest, not partisan interest. They don't want to fall into that trap if they can avoid it. There's another thing going on here as well. Talking to Labour sources, it's quite clear that quite a lot of northern Labour MPs, in particular north of England Labour MPs, went to the leadership in the last 24 hours and said their constituencies, pro-Brexit voting constituencies in many cases, were very uneasy, would be very uneasy with the direction of travel as they see it that Keir Starmer was taking the Labour Party, leaning into Remain. They wanted a touch on the tiller, a bit of a change of direction. But there's one other thing going on in all this tactical play, and that is Labour just wanting to keep open the possibility, because there are so many possibilities at the moment, that, although nobody's thought it was really realistic until now, they could just vote for the deal. Maybe because it's right on their landing ground, exactly what they're asking for, maybe because it's very close to it and there's an incredible amount of pressure there come the day of the vote.
And Gary, Theresa May was also in New York busily courting business leaders. How did that go?
Well, just before she did that, I mean, she can't escape Brexit here, even though she's trying to talk about a lot of other things. She bumped into some of the people, the leaders from the EU27 she saw in Salzburg only last week. And then again, Brexit bounced into her view because one of the CEOs at this gathering, very big amount of money sitting in that room that she was speaking to, asked a pretty sharp question about the risks of Britain falling out of the European Union without a proper deal, the risks to business. Here's his sharp question, and you can judge for yourself how sharp her answer is.
How bad could things get? It's a little daunting for those of us on the outside.
Some of the key elements of the UK that make it a great place to invest in and do business aren't going to change post-Brexit. We're still going to have those great scientists, those innovators, that great ecosystem of professional services and financial services. We're still going to have some of the best universities in the world, a great legal system. But some of the positives that bring people to invest in the UK will still be there, regardless of the Brexit.
So some of the elements that business like about a EU membership UK would be there. Presumably some would not. I think if those CEOs came looking for reassurance, they'd struggle to leave with a lot extra of that commodity.
Gary, thanks very much.